Welcome back to our channels, Warriors. We are still growing 10,500 subscribers and counting. If you haven't had your Thea smash that subscribe button, go ahead and have her smash it right now. This episode right here is going to be about something that a lot of people have been asking me from the start. Hector, did you ever run into anybody in prison that you knew? A friend of yours from the past? A friend that you used to hang out with, right? Did you ever see them in prison? Yes. I'm from Brawley, California, right? That is pretty much on the border of Mexico, south, and pretty much on the border of Arizona, Yuma, like 50 miles away, west of Yuma, but nevertheless, right there, right? Probably the southernmost part. The prisons that you have in that area are Calipatria State Prison, Centinela State Prison, Chuckawalla that they're just closing down or about to close down, and Ironwood in Blythe. That area right there, those desert prisons as we refer to them as. That is where I was raised from the time that I was an infant all the way, because I was born in Hanford, right? Born in Hanford. But I was from an infant in Brawley all the way until I shipped out to the Army at the age of 17. All right, that was the year 2002. And when I came back from the Army, back to it, right back to it. So what is it like? What kind of people? And Hector, why do you talk like a sureño? Well, I can assure you, I'm not doing any of this on purpose, right? Let's just make that clear right now. Second of all, I've come to realize it's where I grew up, who I hung out with, and so forth and so forth. 26,000 people. That's the population of Brawley. 26,000 people. Brawley is in the Imperial Valley, Imperial County. It is very small. Pretty much, I can guarantee you, everybody knows everybody. That's it. You cannot do one thing and not have like 10 comadres calling fucking 2 minutes later saying, oh, did you hear what this guy did? Did you hear what she did? Oh my God, did you see who she was with? That's kind of how small it is, that it's so small, right? For anybody from a small town knows that. I say small town because let's think about large cities. LA, Los Angeles, San Diego. I'm pretty sure not everybody knows everybody in LA, and not everybody knows everybody in San Diego. So, gangs, right? Gangs. Were there gangs in Brawley? Well, they're not your traditional, what you would see on TV, your traditional, what you would see on Gangland, an episode of Gangland. I can guarantee you they're not going to do a Gangland episode on Eastside Brawley. Not going to do it, right? BVL, I'm taking back in the days. PYS, the projects, right? Because they were just not operating on the level of LA gangs or San Diego gangs just because it was so small. And there's no doubt that they were more than likely doing border transactions, if you know what I mean, because the Mexico border is right there. Now that I've given you a clear, concise, and picture of what environment I grew up in, you'll kind of see where this leads. It's like there's a lot of drugs in Brawley. There's a lot of drugs in the Imperial Valley. Meth. A lot of meth for sure. Heroin. Coke. Yeah, there's a lot of coke for sure. And weed. I mean, that's everywhere, right? But I didn't grow up rich, right? Eventually, my dad would become a correctional officer, so the money got better. The money got way better. But before that, for 10 years of my life, we weren't Tell you what, we weren't popping bottles. 10-year-old Hector wasn't popping a bottle, I'll tell you that much right now. Um, well, a bottle, right? But not, the bottles that you're thinking about. So, being that it's so small, and being that my personality is the way that it is, I I pretty much kicked it with everybody. I pretty much got along with everybody. So I was drawn to that partying, drugs, alcohol scene. I had my friends, right, my homies, and we partied. When I came back from Iraq, I hit a. There's a reason why I touch on self medication. There's a reason why I touch on PTSD, trauma, and not going down that path because I went down that path. I surely went down that path. And it almost killed me numerous times. I got involved in all of that. Right? I had a front row seat in everything that was transpiring. One time in particular, I was drinking, right, and doing other stuff at a kickback, right, a little party at a dude's house, at a homie's house, and regular old, good old fashioned kickback, right. And I'm drinking all night long. I mean, I drank till the sun came up. I'm the only one sitting in a lawn chair in the backyard, right? So, like, I don't know. I gotta tell you what else I was doing. That I was up all the way up till the sun came up. And a cop comes through the door, right? And I recognize the cop. I'd had issues, run-ins with the cops before. And that officer, female officer, tells me, like, hey, have you been sitting here the whole night? I, like, look around. I'm like, yes. We're like, yeah, right? I had been sitting there the whole night. Like, oh, were you aware of a stabbing that happened down, like, on the corner? And I'm like, no. All right, and like she could tell that I clearly had not gotten up off that chair. I don't know what she probably saw, like a pile of beer cans, beer bottles, right? Like oh, clearly this dude's like on his own, chilling, right, on his own thing. Well, yeah, somebody did in fact get stabbed, right, and stabbed, right. So like there may not be like official gangs. Well, there is official gangs, but they're like it is not on the scale of LA or San Diego. That's the only thing I can reference, right? Fresno, probably Stockton, Oakland, IE. So that individual right there and a couple other individuals I would run into in prison. Right? When I got cleaned up, when I got my act together, when I pursued this career, right? It's kind of like the movie Blood In, Blood Out. When the dude comes back from the Marine Corps and he's just like, straight and arrow now. It's like straight, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I used to do this like a lot at one point, like over here. And now I'm on this side of the law, right? Never forgot where I came from. Never stepped on the little people. Never backstabbed anybody. Nothing to that nature. Just more like, hey, I'm over here now. Like this is a career. This is the pathway, right? I got trying to start a family. Just the whole freaking nine. So there I am on. This is one of the youngsters that happened. Brand new CO, Centinela State Prison, probably around 2000. I think I seen that. I think I seen that like file in his. I think I seen that paperwork in his file that I had to submit. That I submitted. I'll tell you why. This was like 2008. I'm working. Bravo 1, level 3, Centinela, bunk beds, right? So I'm at the podium chilling, doing whatever I'm doing. Somebody comes up to me and says, you went to school in Brawley, huh? I like looked up, it was an inmate, shaved head, tattoos, and I'm like, looked at him, I'm like, nah, dude. I was brand new, brand spanking new. I didn't know how to communicate, operate, or move, right? Like that. So I'm like, nah. He's like, yeah, I think you went to school in Brawley. I remember you. And I didn't recognize him at first, right? Because this dude looked aged. This dude looked aged. This dude looked like a veterano. Dude was like freaking 3 years younger than me, right? And I'm like, nah, dude. So he, like, pretty much go away. He went away. He was on the bunk beds. He was assigned to the bunk beds. I look at the unlock. I look for his name. Boom, there it is. Said his name. And I'm like, oh, wow. Like, how awkward. Because, awkward. Because I told you, things were different back then as far as, like, the tension. Somebody said, hey, Hector, you might have been at RJD too long because it's still the same way like this at other prisons. Well, then, good, hopefully, because you don't ever want it to go too far to the other side. It is unfathomable, right? So, I see the dude's name. I'm like, man, this is so weird. Like, why would this dude do that? Why would he come up to me in front of all his homies? Because his homies noticed. I told you guys in another episode, you need to take a shadow to talk to a CO. This dude just straight up came up and talked. Like, this dude clearly was not operating under the rules that he should have been operating under. Especially by coming at me like that. So, I didn't know what to do. I called the sergeant. Sergeant kind of made a joke, like, what are you doing recognizing inmates? But he was like kind of joking. He was an old crusty dude. I don't remember his name. We didn't know our sergeants back then. We didn't know our lieutenants, right? The only reason I called them is because they had put an emphasis on like, hey, if you recognize people, you need to let us know. We do the paperwork. It's not a big deal. That way, nothing shady comes down the line or accusations or you get caught up or something like that. So it's pretty simple, right? They tell me, yeah, he's gonna get moved. I was covered release, so I'm like, hey, I bounce around. Like, no need to move the guy. I bounce around. Like, I'm probably not even gonna work in this building tomorrow. Like, so I have to call him over. I'm like, hey, dude, come here. Like, pack your stuff. Give him some trash bags. He looks at me like, kind of like, really? Or like, oh, I get it. I think his people got at him. Like, as I'm getting at the sergeant on the phone, his people were getting at him. Like, why'd you do that? Or don't do that. Like, they were checking him, right? So when the bags came, like, the other homies looked at him like, yeah, pack your shit, get out of here. It turns out that this dude would eventually, wherever he would land, like, let's say in R&R, receiving and releasing, like when an inmate first touches down or leaves a prison, that he would be like to all the CEOs, hey, I remember you, I recognize you, I know you. Yeah, don't do that. Don't do that. It's not in anybody's best interest. Like, I don't see how that could work in anybody's benefit. Anyways, dude gets shipped out to like Ironwood or something. Cool. Less of a headache, whatever. I want to say it was him. I don't know, because I would run into like a couple other people when I saw them in prison and then outside of the prison. And then I would tell them like, hey, get your stuff together, man. Straighten it out. And they would look like, yeah, I know, Hector, I know. But I would tell them that. Would they listen? No, because now they're back in prison. But nevertheless, the other homie with the stabbing, right? Where the cop asked me, did I know what transpired? And I'm like, nah, I don't know anything. Like, I don't. Probably even if I did, I wouldn't. I know who shot me, but I ain't telling you. Right? I saw a meme like that back in the day, made me laugh. So, Bravo Yard. Same Bravo Yard. Man, it seems like all these dudes touch down on Bravo Yard. Wow. I'm walking the track this way. Dude is walking the track this way. We are in front of Bravo 4. Right? The buildings go Bravo 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. It's level 3, 270 design housing units. I'm walking the track. He's walking the track. We lock eyes. Right? I didn't even know this dude was on that yard at all. He sees me. I see him. I give him a head nod. He gives me a head nod. I give him a head nod. We just keep it moving. Boom. Not words exchanged. Not nothing. Just, and to him, that worked out. Like, that was the way it was supposed to be. I used to party hard with this dude. For those of you know what it's like to party hard, yeah, for sure, 100%. So it wasn't, that one wasn't awkward, that one wasn't weird. It was kind of like the understanding, like, okay, you're there, I'm here. That's it. Like, wasn't tripping, wasn't nothing. The other first one was kind of out of line for sure. I would see another dude that I knew. This would make three. On a yard. Two of these guys were younger. Like 3 years younger than me. But I knew them as kids. Like it's Brawley. We all played. We all grew up. We all, you know, it's just that environment. Would see him, another head nod. Like the majority get it, right? Like, hey, you're not gonna be sitting there like chopping it up, reminiscing of the good old days. Like, it's not gonna. That's not. I never experienced that. I don't know if other people have. Um, there's that one, that one, that one, and then within my span, my 16-year career, there would be other acquaintances and friends that would land in prison, not my prison, other prisons, and those dudes would have bad paperwork, extremely bad paperwork. So you guys already know what that means, right? And if you don't, then keep following along, right? This is the whole entire journey. Yeah, bad charges, not good. So yeah, COs are not exempt from having former friends as inmates, family members as inmates. It's just like, hey man, it's the world we live in, right? There's like some people get lucky, right? I was on that path, not on the path of like I'm gonna go hold up a bank, I'm gonna go hold up a bank, I'm gonna go hold up a convenience store, but on the path of like I probably shouldn't be doing this right now, right? But I'm going all the way. I'm all in on this, right? So it's all luck. It's all chance. Like for them to think like, oh, you think you're better than us or police are better. I've painted a clear picture that not everybody is a square. A lot of people are about the business, right? Could you imagine being a CO in Salinas? I don't even. I'm just saying, because Salinas is wild from what I know, right? The Wild Wild West. I can guarantee you those guys were not book nerds prior to working in CVSP, right? SVSP, Salinas Valley State Prison. I can, like, this is a good topic, actually. Good, interesting topic, right? Yeah, not everybody's a square, man. And, yeah, straight up. With that message being said is that like, hey, this is another be humble or get humbled episode. Like, boy, did I get humbled. Boy, have I been humbled along the way. Trips to jail, crashed vehicles. I've gotten my fair share. All right, keep pushing forward.